Welcome back inside of Intimate Live. Of course, I am Kiri Lee Crawford holding you down. And right now it's hot, man. We're sizzling and I'm turned all the way up, having some fun. My man Jacoy in the building. Been waiting a minute, man. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me. Honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna go back maybe 4 or 5 years, and I was in LA. And it's why even in the intro, I said, from Toronto by way of LA, because I was in LA and I didn't even know that you were from Toronto. So when I first got the buzz on you and my man was like, yo, me too, this dude is really killing it. I was like, yo, I like that. I heard Still in Love. And they're like, yo, he's from Toronto.
Sick.
I was like, of course he is. Of course, because we run the world. We're doing big things. And again, incredible to have you here. Talk about, firstly, your rise. Just, we know how challenging it is coming from Toronto and trying to find your way. There's no one formula. 100 people have done it 100 different ways. Talk about that formula and that process for you, just getting to the point where you're at right now.
It kind of started with just realizing where I am and what it is that I want to do in the conflict of those things. What I want to do and where I am, just not in the same places. So I felt like I had to take it somewhere.
Yeah.
And, I was very inspired by J. Cole's story. J. Cole's story where he's like, I'm going to take my demo, go to New York and give it to Jay-Z. And then, everything works out in his favor.
Yeah.
Me, I kind of went with my demo same way. I went to LA and just kind of winged it. I had a few records on SoundCloud. I had some attention on SoundCloud. And, I just kind of just went with my gut feeling, like this is where I need to be and this is where I'm going to go.
Right.
And so I'm just going to wish for the best.
Right.
And, literally within 5 days of being there, I link up with an inspiration of mine, Jaden Smith.
Okay.
And then now I know I'm really supposed to be here.
Right.
Everything starts aligning itself, and I know that now I just got to go harder.
My man said 5 days. I was like, yo, I was there for 5 years. And no, my man said I was there for 5 days. And that's how you know it's anointed, that you're supposed to be doing what you're doing. Talk about your inspiration. How long you been singing? When did you start singing? What is the story behind that? Did you come out your mother's womb? You was ready to go? What was it?
To be honest, I actually started singing in 2014.
Okay,
that was the first time I ever tried to sing.
Say word.
Yeah, and so it started kind of just like me. I was dating this girl,
right?
And I was trying to make songs for her to impress her, and so it went to the lengths of me really taking the step to get vocal, opposed to just being, because I started making music through poetry. Okay. So I was writing poetry, and then my poetry's turned into raps, and I turned those raps into singing,
Right.
So no, I haven't been singing like some people that have been singing in church and all
right,
that.
Yeah.
Some of those people are some of the best singers in the world, and yes, I mean I've only been singing since 2014, but I've been doing music literally my whole life.
Right.
I started making poetry at the age of 11, and then I recorded my first record at 13.
Okay.
And I've been riding this wave ever since.
Okay, but that's crazy. Because that's the transition between just being lyrical and then taking those lyrics and putting them, of course, putting them to pad and pen, and of course to recording. Yeah. I feel like females inspire everything. If you hadn't heard, my man said that inspired by a special person in your life. Talk about, as we talk, you say the inspiration behind you starting to sing. Talk about the inspiration behind even why you love music. Who'd you grow up, listening to and whatnot?
Well, okay, growing up, I was listening to I grew up in a full house.
Okay.
Kind of like the show Full House. My aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my grandmas, everybody's in the house. And so it's a lot of inspiration from everybody, right?
Yeah.
What my uncles are listening to versus what my aunts are listening to versus what my grandma's listening to.
Right.
There's 3 different worlds of music.
Yeah.
And so I'm listening to a lot of Fred Hammond from my grandma.
Yeah.
Or I'm listening to Craig David, my aunts and my mom. And then I'm listening to Craig Mack. My uncles are showing me Craig Mack, and so it's just this fusion of hip hop, R&B, reggae, house music, even just my whole inspiration is just a mixture of the music that I've been listening to in the household, and what I've been exposed to and everything, all of that alone, like I just feel like where we are today,
Yeah.
because of the advantage, the technology, we're able to fuse so many different sounds and create new genres
Yes.
through the genres that we're inspired by, and all of that together just has driven me to just to just be very, very vocal about where we are, even in the times that we're in.
Right.
Growing up, I was a very shy guy. I couldn't really talk to people, like having a conversation right now like this. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. I couldn't
Right.
share how I was feeling with anyone, and the only way that I was able to was through music. And so it started with the poems. The poems, I was able to share how I was feeling at the time. And then one of my teachers pulled me aside one day and was like, "Jacoy, you make really good poems." And I was like, cool. I mean, I'm only 11 years old. I'm not
Right.
thinking too much of it. I'm thinking, let me just get the assignment done like I'm asked, and then it becomes a thing where now I'm becoming super like into it. It's becoming a part of me. Now I can't let it go,
Right.
and so I'm constantly making these poems that eventually ended up on beats.
That's crazy, and the reason why I asked the question and the answer is incredible was because your first song that you did today had a little Afro fusion, little Afro beats vibe, and so talk about that, how that came to be, producer, and just the idea.
Well, I worked on that record with Sonny De Rosa and Diego. We wrote and produced that record together in Toronto.
In Toronto. All right.
Yes, and I'm also too, like, my background. So I'm half Jamaican
All right.
and half Oromo. So
So for big up the yard man, them. Oh no, I'm playing.
yeah,
I'm
big
sorry.
up, big up. Yeah, big up yourself. But
Okay.
so that's where my background
Okay. Yeah.
is where a lot of my inspiration for my music comes from, and being a producer, I'm also a producer. Aside from being like a singer, I produce my records, and so I try to put a lot of the music that I grew up listening to in my household and all that inspiration, and put it in the music to show the influence, to show like the heritage, the background, where I'm from. Coming
Yeah.
out into my career, I had a record called California Heaven.
Right.
And that record, is basically sharing my story. I went to California to chase my dreams, and things, worked out.
Right.
But there was a bit of, that confusion. People were like, "Oh, is he from California?"
I
No.
was confused, but I didn't know. I thought you was from California.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
I had to deal with a lot of that. And
Okay.
so I felt like, you know what? This is a perfect time for me to now show people where I'm really from, who I really am, because they may not be familiar. They may know the
Right.
song, but
Right.
I'm here, I'm live, and so I'm going to give them all of it.
Everything crazy popping, and I'm telling you, I was in LA, and I thought you were from LA, and then so when they peeped me on, I said, "Nah, he's from Toronto." I was like, "Yes!" I said, "We stay winning." So now, talk about your world travel. I kind of teased it in the intro, that exact premise. I was like, I know where in the world he's from. He's definitely a creature, a son, a talent of the globe. Your sound, I could not pinpoint it to say, you know what I mean? Even how you define your sound. What do you call your sound? Like, are you a rapper? You're a singer? You seem to do everything.
I'm an artist.
An artist. I love
I'm
that.
an artist,
Yeah.
I'm like Basquiat. I'm like I'm everything. I'm
Yeah.
like I feel like I don't put myself in any barrier or try to
Compartment.
fence myself in anything.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to do it all.
Right.
It's like some of my favorite artists. Well, one particular artist, for example, is Kanye West. He's one of my favorite artists because he's able to keep up with the times and experiment with these different sounds and genres to define the unknown, or
Right.
to discover the unknown, because infinite sounds are infinite. You can create with your mouth, with your hands, with your feet, with sound, with everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I just want to try everything, and also too, like. So I'm half Jamaican
Yeah.
and half Oromo. A lot of people don't know what Oromo is. Oromo is East African.
Okay.
So if you're familiar with Ethiopian or Eritrean, it's not that similar, And so I have just a lot of inspiration from background, a lot of heritage, a lot of culture,
Right.
tradition, that a lot of people are not familiar with. And so I
Okay.
want to make people familiar in when I'm creating. I want to let people know where I'm from, who I am, what I
Right.
represent, because
Right.
this is a package,
No.
And so I mean, I've been around the world. I've been back home. I haven't been to Jamaica though. I don't want to go to Jamaica.
Yeah,
so
I'm
bad.
sure we're
That's
going to
somewhere I
situate
need
that
to
because
go.
right now Jamaica's watching, so it's one of the places.
Yeah, we gotta go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
But I've been all across Canada, U.S., a few places in Europe. And this is just on tour. It's me being on tour. So I went on tour with Tinashe, Kehlani, the Chainsmokers, the Neighborhood. I even did my own tour. I did my own tour in Paris, Amsterdam, Belgium, London. I just been doing the
All
whole
over the
round,
place,
letting everybody know I'm here.
Right.
You know?
I'm going to ask you this question because, watching you from afar and just watching the wave and how you deal with things, when we even announced that we were bringing you in, we had some girls that were just like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, yo, it's Tommy. Yes, I do Still in Love. Yes, I do Still in Love. Well, here's the thing. How does it feel? I mean, you talk about, Willow Smith. Willow, was it Willow, right?
Willow and Jada.
Yeah, Willow and Jada. So you talked about that experience. When you see Drake sharing your joint, or Elton John sharing your music, or Pharrell sharing your music, Lil Wayne checking for you to do a song, what does that feel like from an artistry standpoint? Just to sit there and say that these people that you have them on your wall, you see them on the wall, you see them on TV, but now they're checking for you because they want a bit of a piece of what you got. What is that experience like?
To be honest, it is a little overwhelming, but that just lets me know that I gotta keep going. I gotta stay hungry. It isn't the end; it's only the beginning. And so, I'm appreciative and grateful for the acknowledgement of such great artists and their platform and what they got going on, because they inspire me. You know what I'm saying? So to know that they recognize, oh wow, I gotta go harder. I really gotta put my foot in the water and just swim. I gotta swim good. That's literally where I see it. I gotta see it like it's not the end point. It's like just the beginning. I gotta just prove why I belong.
I love that. Just the beginning. And as we talk, just the beginning, what's going on now? Next project, what are you working on? Like, what's the flavor? I'm hearing big things. I'm seeing big things. I want you to talk a little bit, about that.
Man, my project though.
The project though.
This is a big project. I've been working on it for a while. And I feel the most confident in this project. I feel like I found myself as an artist. Everything that I was hoping for and looking for, and just all the things I've been digging in and trying to discover about myself, I found. I'm not only an art. I'm not just making the music. I'm engineering the music. I'm producing the music. I'm doing the full rounds for the music, and so I'm working on this project right now. It's called Parts and Labor. It's basically my reintroduction. I want to let people know, again, like we'll start touching on the topic of people not knowing where I'm from. This project is specifically made to let people know who I am and where I'm from. Because when you listen to it, there's no way you're going to be confused about where's this guy from? No, you're going to know. You know what I'm saying? Because I put it all in there. I say it a billion times. You cannot ignore it.
Can't miss it.
And so I'm super excited. I got Fabulous on the record. I got LMA on the record. I got King Combs on the record. I got a crazy project I've been working on. And more than anything, I'm grateful that I get to tell my story this way, this time.
Man, it's crazy, and we're really, really thrilled and excited that we have you here back. Of course, I don't know if we call it for the encore, whatever you want to call it, man. My man Jacoy in the building about this set back to stage. It's going to be big. Lock it in. Intimate live right here on FEVA TV.
Big up yourself.